The Prestige you watched was a carefully crafted lie, a sanitized version of a much darker reality. Today, we unearth the truth that Christopher Nolan tried to bury. Because here is what the film never told you. The man who delivered the final moral of the story, the man who looked into the camera and explained why none of it was anyone's fault, was the architect of every death in the film. And his closing monologue was not wisdom. It was the most sophisticated magic trick in the entire film. Cutter's final monologue was not wisdom about the nature of magic. It was a confession, delivered so artfully that it landed as absolution. The Prestige, the confession nobody heard. John Cutter is introduced as the moral compass of the Prestige, the steady hand, the wise elder, the man who told Angier when he was going too far, the infrastructure of restraint in a story built on obsession. That is the mechanism the film constructed around him. Imagine a man who knew exactly where every body was buried, and chose, each time, to keep building the grave. Because here is the chilling reality. Cutter did not stumble into the horror of the Prestige. He built it, beam by beam, trapdoor by trapdoor. The film presents his warnings as evidence of his conscience. This is going too far, Robert. This obsession will destroy you. But a conscience without action is not a conscience. It is a protocol, a predatory, self-preserving protocol. Every time Cutter expressed concern, he picked up his tools immediately after. That is not a man wrestling with his ethics. That is a man filing his alibi. The deception begins on the night Julia McCullough drowns, Angier's wife, drowned in a water tank on stage. The apparatus failed, or the knot held too long. And in the background of this frame, watch Cutter. He is not frozen. He is moving. His hands are already at the equipment. He is not a witness to catastrophe. He is a technician assessing a malfunction. This man designed that tank. He engineered the escape mechanism. He understood every knot configuration that apparatus could sustain. Angier blames Borden. Borden says he cannot remember which knot he tied. And Cutter, the one man in that theater with the professional authority to assign or exonerate blame, says nothing. That silence was a decision. It was the first brick in the infrastructure of everything that follows. Because an angry, grieving Angier is a useful Angier. A man channeling rage into ambition is a man who will keep performing, keep building, keep generating the act that Cutter's livelihood depends on. Julia's death was an accident. What follows it is not. The deception runs deeper than one silent night. It runs through the entire architecture of the rivalry. Alfred Borden debuts an impossible illusion. He enters one door, emerges from another, instantly. The mechanism is biological. He is a twin. Two men sharing one life, one name, one existence. One loved Sarah, one loved Olivia. Neither could ever be whole. Sarah deteriorates. Depression, distance. A husband who is warm one day and cold the next. And the film cuts away from her, faster than it should, shorter than it should. The suppressed truth. Cutter knew Borden. He had access to both men's worlds. He could see what the double life was doing to the woman living inside it. He did nothing. Because Sarah had no role in the act. She generated no income. She was not a mechanism. And so the predatory logic of the performance economy simply continued around her, the way water continues around a stone, until the stone is submerged. Now Angier escalates. He cannot crack Borden's secret. He deploys Olivia Wenscombe, his assistant, his ingenue, into Borden's world as a spy. The film wants you to read this as desperation. Watch his face. That is not desperation. That is calculation. Ice cold. Precise. Angier is using a woman as an instrument. With the same casual efficiency, he will later use his own body. And Cutter is present for this conversation. He continues to work. Tesla's machine does something extraordinary. It does not teleport. It replicates. The hats scattered across a snowy Colorado field. Each one is the relic of a displaced original. The film shoots this moment with the visual grammar of wonder, the wide shot, the pale light, the silence. But each hat marks a casualty. The beautiful landscape is a crime scene styled as a painting. Angier brings the machine back to London. He builds his act. And here is where the existential threat of Cutter's complicity reaches its most volatile form. Cutter built previous trapdoor mechanisms for Angier. He knows what a stage conceals. He helped design this stage. The tank is beneath that stage. Cutter built the stage. The film will ask you to believe Cutter doesn't fully understand what the tank is for. But a man who has spent his career engineering theatrical concealment does not fail to understand what a sealed tank beneath a trapdoor is for. He understood. He chose to continue anyway, night after night. The real transported man, the lightning, the disappearance, the emergence in the balcony. The crowd does not know what they are applauding. Every burst of applause corresponds to a drowning beneath their feet. The editing rhythm accelerates. The crowd swells. He stands there, every night, in the wings, watching. Think about the implications of a man who can hear the applause above and knows what produces it below and does not move. The applause is not just approval. For Cutter, standing in those wings, the applause is the sound that drowns out the drowning, and he lets it play, because the crowds are enormous, and Angier is at the peak of his career, and the show is the thing. The apparatus is almost complete. One final mechanism remains. Borden stands trial for the murder of Robert Angier. The murder is the drowning of Angier's final clone, a death that Angier engineered, performed, and designed to implicate the one man who had bested him. And there, in the gallery, sits Cutter. Nolan does not linger, but he puts him there, physically, in the room, at the level of judgment, above the accused. Cutter has intimate knowledge of Angier's methods. He built the stage infrastructure. He understood that Angier's performances operated through mechanisms of concealment. He knows the machine. He knows the tank. He knows that the murder Borden is charged with is a theatrical fiction. He says nothing. Borden small, the architecture large, the verdict coming. A man is sentenced to hang. Cutter sits in the gallery, and the conspiracy of silence that Cutter has maintained, through Julia's death, through Sarah's decline, through the nightly industrial drowning beneath the stage, reaches its final, irreversible form. One Borden twin is executed by the British state, not for a murder, for a theatrical apparatus, for a drowned clone, for a revenge fantasy engineered by a man who was himself killed by his own machine, and authorized by silence by the one man who could have ended it. Imagine a man, tried, convicted, and hanged, for a crime that could not, by the laws of known science and human biology, have occurred in the way the court was told. Imagine that the expert who could have testified to this was sitting in the gallery, watching. This is the ancient protocol of institutional complicity. The expert who attends the verdict files no objection and remains available to narrate the aftermath. Now the tanks, row after row, each one sealed, each one containing a version of Robert Angier, each one the result of a performance that Cutter built the stage for, watched run, and never stopped. Angier admits everything: the machine, the clones, the tank, the engineered revenge. He confesses that he no longer knows which version of himself is real. The deception has consumed the deceiver. The mechanism destroyed its operator. And the man who built the mechanism walks upstairs, into the light, to collect the daughter, to speak the final words. The film ends on hope, father and daughter, reunion, a child's hand in a man's hand. The camera lifts, the color palette warms, the music resolves. And above all of this, over the reunion, over the light, over the child's footsteps, John Cutter speaks. You want to be fooled. 5 words, delivered to camera, delivered to you. Now reverse the subject, remove you, insert I. I wanted you to be fooled. Because Cutter is not describing the audience's appetite for illusion, he is describing his own method. He chose which story got told about Julia's death. He chose to keep building while Angier deteriorated. He chose silence during Borden's trial. He chose to watch the tanks fill, night after night from the wings. And now, at the end, he delivers a philosophical consolation prize, a meditation on human nature, on wonder, on the beautiful, tragic cost of greatness. The predatory elegance of this moment is total, because the closing narration does not just explain the film, it suppresses the film. Those tanks are still down there. They will need to be recovered, identified. There will be inquiries, the theater owner, the stagehands, the audience members who noticed a trapdoor they were never meant to see. But Cutter is already upstairs, already narrating, already delivering the thesis that explains why none of it was anyone's fault. Think about the implications of a world in which the most trusted voice in the room, the mentor, the expert, the elder, is also the man with the most to lose from the truth being told. He is not educating her. He is not warning anyone. He is not witnessing. He is not helpless. He is managing. Managing the story, managing the aftermath, managing what you walk away believing. The chilling reality is this: every system of deception, every conspiracy of silence, every institutional cover-up requires not just a perpetrator and a victim. It requires a narrator, someone articulate enough to frame the wreckage as tragedy, inevitable, beautiful, human, rather than as what it is. Cutter is that narrator. He was always that narrator, and the film gave him the microphone. The most dangerous figure in any predatory system is not the man who drowns in the tank. It is the man who built the stage, narrates the wonder, and walks out of the theater untouched. Power does not protect itself through force. It protects itself through the authority to explain. And those who control the final monologue control what the world agrees to call the truth. If this truth shocked you, smash like and subscribe for the next dark story from The Pulse.